Keep it high, keep it tight. I'm GMers Review Guy, back to bring you another 5-minute review. In this video, we're going to be covering something that I don't think I've covered before, and that's a different genre besides rock and metal. And it's something that I'm going to be doing quite a bit more of in the coming reviews, and I have lots of albums that I need to review, lots of current albums that I need to review. And today we're, of course, talking about Eminem's album, Revival. So, Eminem is the type of person that doesn't really need much of an introduction. He has pretty much been huge since his inception into the hip-hop, the conscious hip-hop type of movement, with his deeply emotional lyrics, his lyrics that really touch a lot of people because he puts a lot of personalization into them, and he pushed the boundaries of color, he pushed the boundaries of just how, honestly, the whole genre was thought of, because Eminem is probably one of the most deep lyricists when it comes to hip-hop, when it comes to rap, and he always keeps his lyrics very personal. It's always about his struggle, it's always about his life, something he's heard, something he's done. Sometimes he fictionalizes stories and makes them seem just as real as if it happened to him. And obviously he has talked a lot about Haley, he has talked a lot about his wife, he has talked a lot about where he's come from, and just a lot of other interesting topics. Now, Revival is no different. Amidst an ocean of rappers that are having a very cliche type of way of doing things, a cliche type of lyricism, with the style that they play, even if it's catchy, it was definitely a breath of fresh air to hear Eminem return with this album. And I think that in many ways this might go down as my favorite hip-hop or rap album of, this year. Now, something about this album that I know has gotten some hate is the fact that it does have some elements that can bounce back and forth between the pop and the kind of more mainstream type of approach. And he features Ed Sheeran on the song River. He features Beyonce on the song Walk on Water. And I don't think that these are out of place at all. I think for the type of music, it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like he's intentionally doing this to try to break into the mainstream, because the rest is still as raw and uncut as anything else. And I gotta say, this album, even more so than some of his past albums, really feels even more personal. On a song like River, Ed Sheeran compliments Eminem's heart-wrenching, raw verses with a composition that really recalls some of his earlier, more emotional work. And Ed Sheeran comes in with that chorus with these deep lyrics. Little one, I don't want to admit something if all it's going to cause is pain. Like, there's a lot of really deep lyrics on this album, and it takes a very conscious turn, it takes a sometimes political turn, and it's not something that Eminem is necessarily unfamiliar with. He has always been into this type of composition of songs that are very deeply personal, that mean something to him, and it means something to a lot of other people. And this album touches on so many different topics that it's hard to break it down to one 5-minute review. And I could say a lot about this album. But more so, I'm going to do something that I don't usually do with my album reviews, and that is I'm just going to flat out suggest that you go listen to this yourself. And whether it's song by song on YouTube, whether you download it on Spotify, whether you download it on iTunes, whether you go out and purchase the record at your local store, pretty much everyone will have it. Whether it be an FYE, a Walmart, support this album, because I think that this album is definitely very important. I'm going to give it a perfect 10 out of 10 because this is an extremely intriguing and involving album, and I don't think that it really fails on many corners. And there's going to be some people who maybe I catch flack from for saying that, because I know a lot of people think that it went poppy, and this isn't something he hasn't done before. He's collaborated with Rihanna, he's collaborated with quite a few other artists that would be in that pop category, but I definitely think this is a very, very good album, and I highly suggest you go listen to it, because it's hard to put into words how great of an album this is. and I definitely suggest you listen to it. So this has been Jay Morse Review Guy. I'm signing off saying farewell.